everybody, this video is going to be a recap of all of the classes that I took this past Friday at the Creating Keepsakes Convention in Houston. And I took 6 classes Friday, so I've got some notes about my classes before I showed my projects and projects kits. So we're going to go through these classes one by one. I'm going to show you what I made in the class and explain what the class was about and give you my impressions of the class. So the first one I did was called Gelatos Colors 101, and the instructor was Rita Barakat. And I really wanted to get involved with mixed media, and I really didn't know how to use a lot of these products. Things like, you know, obviously the Gelatos color medium, gesso, texture paste, jelly plates. I had never worked with any of these things ever, so I wanted to take a lot of classes about mixed media over the weekend. So the first one I took, we made this little booklet, and I'll hold it up and show you. And this class was all about using gelatos. The cover of the booklet is acrylic that's had gesso painted on it, and then all of the pages, all that we did was played with gelatos and some pearl medium and stencils, a jelly plate, water, and we just saw the different ways that gelatos colors behave when you use different techniques. So we worked with some stencils, we worked to see how you can blend in, you know, what happens when you blend a gelato in with your finger as opposed to when you blend it with a sponge. And this little piece on the front that looks kind of marbleized, that's what we used, a jelly plate to print that. So this was just a nice little introduction to what gelato, Faber-Castell gelatos are, and I don't have one with me to show you, but imagine a chapstick, which is paint, and it is exactly that. It's a little twist up tube, and the color medium, the paint medium, is a thick paste like a lipstick, and you can rub it on like a pastel. You can dip a paintbrush in water and use it like a watercolor. You can take some out with a palette knife, scrape some off, mix it in with different medium. You can even mix it in with water, shake it up and have a mist. So they're water-based, very thick paste pigment sticks, and they come in an array of colors, and they're just really neat to work with. So like I said, this class was all about what to do with gelatos. The back was stenciled in with texture medium, and we got to rub the color on, and this was also printed on the jelly plate. And then, like I said, what are you using? Water. We used baby wipes, we used sponges, we used paper towels, we used our fingers. So this was a nice, fun, very hands-on class. The instructor, Rita, was very encouraged us to get messy and get our hands dirty and play with the mediums, which was really great. And I ended up taking a very similar class from her, again, that where we kind of built on what we did in this class. So I'll be getting to that later. And then the second class of the day I took was ATC Acrylic Card Extravaganza. And the company that sponsored this class was called Clear Scraps. And this company, they make acrylic cutout pieces, things for crafting and scrapbooking. And this class was all about making artist trading cards with acrylic pieces. And they had a very good handout showing all of the techniques that we did. We worked with a modeling cream texture medium, which is solvent-based and sticks to the ATC cards and dries very quick. On the acrylic, we did a stamping and alcohol ink technique. We did a reverse stamping technique, a kind of a resist technique. We learned that we can run the acrylic sheets through your die cutter to emboss them, and we learned how to do a really neat white stamping technique. And in our kit, we got a whole pack, and I haven't opened it yet, so I'll just kind of flip through a little of ATC card pieces, which is really neat. And these are from Prima. And then we got just some little texture pieces of paper, little, you know, mixed media and dimensional bits and pieces to put on our cards. Some more paper, you know, just fun things to play with. We just, in the class, learned the basic techniques. We were given a stencil to use the modeling medium, the cream medium. So you can tell the one that we were using in class was just kind of a silvery pearl. And so we laid it down and did a laid it down and used our palette knife and made a texture, and then you can overlay this, so you know you can use that to build on. And then the next technique we did was alcohol inks. We alcohol inked the back of the card, and then we stamped the front with StazOn ink. So this was a really neat kind of a texture, and you can see it's translucent, or you can mount it on a white card. And then the next technique we did, I kind of pooched it. It was the resist technique. I want to rub it off a little bit quick, but you can see it almost looks batiqued. What you do is you take alcohol ink, you rub the alcohol ink, and then you stamp, and then you burnish it off. Well, the neat thing we were taught about these is if you make a mistake, you can always clean it off with non-acetone nail polish remover. So we didn't waste our little cards if we made a mistake. The next one we did, we were given one that had been embossed in an embossing machine and cutting machine, and we were just to ink the top, and I kind of messed up. So I'll be cleaning this off and doing it again. And again, you see how these can layer. And that's just adding another dimension and layer to your, you can make artist trading cards, you can make page elements for scrapbooking, you can make an album cover, you can make altered art. It was just learning the technique of working with the acrylic. And then the final technique we were taught was stamping with white StazOn ink. And it's hard to tell, but this is so pretty. The white swirls, and those were our projects that we made in the class. And then we were also given extra four pack of cards to play with on our own, and these are really great. I actually went and bought some more. They're perfectly clear. They're just coated with a protective film that you peel off. So this was a very neat class, and I really enjoyed it. I have worked with acetate sheets before, but never thin acrylic. I really didn't know, to be honest, what the difference was, other than the acetate was very thin, but the acrylic, you can embellish a card and it'll stand up on its own. And that was, like I said, a very fun class, and we got a very generous kit of supplies. So just the cards themselves they sell for $1 a piece. So we were given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We were given $8 worth of cards, just the blank cards. So this was a good class and a very good value, and I learned some really cool stuff. And then the next class I took was called Join the Gold Rush with Technique Tuesday. And this was a class making cards using gold embellishments. And this class was taught by an instructor named Nicole Peterson. And I really like Nicole because one of the things that makes her classes a little bit unique is she works the project along with the class, and she uses an overhead projector. So you're doing what she's doing. And these were the cards that our kit, we had in our kit to make these 4 cards and then these extra little tags. So the point of this class was gold being just a design trend in general in the crafting and home decorating world. How can we incorporate gold? So these are the cards that I made. And this one says, "You are my sun, moon, and stars," stamped in gold. It's got some punches with gold behind them, and this was done with a watercolor pencil. I really like that one. I really like how the gold peeks through. And then the second card I made, it's Shine Bright, and I cannot remember the name of the technique. Bokeh? Let me read it. It said it. Bokeh, B-O-K-E-H technique. So we learned how to do this kind of neat technique where you watercolor your paper and you stamp, and then we stamped Shine Bright, and then we overstamped some of the polka dots. I like this one a lot too. And then I did the birthday card, which is really cool because we embellished, we stamped on the die cut stars. We stamped Happy Birthday onto the little raised sentiment, and we glittered the star, and then we used, this is, oh, what is that called? Just some very thin gold thread twine like you see around Christmas time to embellish the card. And there was one final card in the class that I didn't complete. Nothing wrong with the card, I just wasn't a huge fan of what it was. It's Happy Thoughts with a flower, and I kind of botched the stamping, so I didn't go any farther with it. I didn't want to waste the rest of my supplies. But we also glittered some paper. We made a couple glitter tags. And we also glittered a foam sentiment that says, Fabulous. And this was on let's see, it was on a piece of foam that has a sticky top that can be run through a die cutter. So we ran it through the die cutter, peeled the top off, and then dipped it in the glitter. So we learned how to work with glitter, we learned how to work with gold cord, we learned how to work with stamping in gold, and it was all about accenting with gold. And I really liked how the blues were picked to go with the gold. I really enjoyed the instructor. I ended up taking 3 classes from her over the weekend. And we also got to take home a stamp that we used on the cards with the "You're a Star for You," the little star coin, a few little different stars, and this one says Sparkle and Shine. So we got a little Technique Tuesday cling stamp set to make other cards. So I was really happy with this class, really. And it was a good fast-paced class. We got a lot of stuff done. I actually finished the cards that I finished there at the crop on Saturday night, but this was all, I really didn't have a bad class, to be honest, and this was one of my favorites. And then moving on, Dreaming in Florals from Heartfelt Creations. Heartfelt Creations is the company that, if you've seen the most incredible, gorgeous, dimensional paper flowers that can look so realistic if you really work with them. And I really wanted to get involved with the making the flowers, Heartfelt Creation flowers. And our class was to make a double-paged layout. And in the class, we shaped the flowers. Let me get this to where you guys can see. We shaped the flowers. We inked the little butterfly. We inked a lot of stuff. We glued all the little die cuts down. We put all of our little mats down. And I didn't finish, obviously. It's very hard to finish the layouts in these classes. So I have this little pack of, these I believe are called Prills. They're little round beads that go in the middle of the flowers. And, you know, we also had some glitter to help decorate and a couple extra flowers and just some more little page elements that I didn't get time. And they gave us 2 coupons, and this one that I cut out was for a free stamp. And their stamps run $19.95 a piece. So for taking the class, you got this kit to make this gorgeous, beautiful, flowery layout, and then you also got a free stamp. You got a $20 stamp. So this was a very generous class. I noticed that a lot of the classes were very generous with your supplies, and you got much more than you paid for. So that was my Dreaming in Florals from Heartfelt Creations. And I'll probably pack that up in a minute. The next one was Mixed Media Demystified. And this was another one by the same instructor, Rita Barakat. And this one we also used gelatos. We used the jelly plate, pearl medium. We made another little mini book, but we expanded on what we did in the first class. So the first thing we did was we picked a stencil and we stenciled with gesso onto a piece of acrylic. And I love anything celestial and moons and stars and suns. So you can see I grabbed the stencil and used this stencil. And I'm not going to lie, these stencils I used in this book, as soon as I got home from CKC, I got on the internet and found them and ordered them. So we did more blending. That's a jelly plate. This is just blending gelatos in with our fingers. More printing on a jelly plate using and then here's using a stencil. And this is actually drywall tape we used as a stencil. Again, different techniques with the gelatos, watering them down and using them as watercolor. More stencil work, more just kind of spattering and playing around with the colors. And then more stencils. I love this kind of, I don't know what I'd call it, but I love it. So I got that stencil when I ordered stencils. These tags are very hard to see the pattern. There's a lot of pearl medium. They were printed on a jelly plate, and I think I'm going to have to get a jelly plate because that was kind of neat. It kind of turns out marbly. And then this was stenciled with wet gelatos. And then we did a stencil with gesso on the back, and then used basically our dirty paper towels, dirty baby wipes we were using to clean up with, to tint it. And then we also tinted the ribbons to tie our book together. And this was the adhesive to glue the acrylic. And then we also got some other little bits and bobs to use. So like I said, this one was very similar to the first class. And when I first signed up for them, I thought maybe I don't need to take both, but I'm glad I did, because this one seems to have expanded a little bit on the first class. And the first class, I really got to know what gelatos were and know what these different mixed media products, the gesso and the pearl medium and the jelly plate were, and how they behave together, so I could really put that to more use in this class. So I am glad that I took both classes. And then the last class that I took on Friday was called Craft Fantastic Latest and Greatest. And Craft Fantastic is the jewelry crafting company. And let me tell you, this class was the bargain of the century. See all this stuff in here? This is the class kit. And I already gave away a necklace that I made. So in this kit, you could make several necklaces, a ring, 2 pairs of earrings, a keychain, a bracelet. There's extra little odds and ends to embellish things with, and all the glass and the glue and the dots and the images. And we also were able to pick 5 full-size image sheets, which are in with my haul bag. I don't have it out, but I'll show you guys what I made in the class. I made 2 necklaces. You could just, your time was your time. They went over the basics, talked about what you could use, what worked well with the adhesive. And we were explained how nothing with this product other than sticking it down into the bezel is set in stone, so to speak. So if you don't like the way something looks, you can just wipe it off, rub it off, wash it off, start over again. You don't have to throw the glass away. So the first one I did was a Eiffel Tower, kind of a Paris pendant. And I really liked the colors. I liked the way it looks with the antique brass hardware. So I made that one. And then I made this one with some roses, antique roses, and then I had a bird, a brass bird charm that I added to it. So these were the 2 necklaces I made in class. And then, like I said, I made 3. I made a third one, but I gave it away already, so I don't have that one to show. So this was my last class, and that was at 7:30, or it ended at 7:30 in the evening. So I decided not to do the Friday night crop. I wanted to go out and have a good dinner and get to bed early because I had a full day of classes and then a crop on Saturday. In retrospect, I wish I had gone to the Friday crop, but, you know, by the time this class was done, I was ready to go to bed, so I just wanted to get some food and get to bed. So this was my Friday at CKC, and as you can tell, I did a lot of arts and crafts, so a lot of paper crafting and mixed media. So that is that, and I think the next video is going to be the Friday haul. Bye.